Jefferson Robbins with NCW Life. The next election won't just determine who your legislators are, it will also perhaps determine where the seat of political power lies in the 12th district. That district was remapped earlier this year. Some precincts fell away from Wenatchee. More land was added in the west side of the 12th district. It includes now communities like Monroe, Sultan, and North Bend. One candidate hails from North Bend, Heather Koellen, a Democrat. She faces Republican candidate Brian Burnett for the open House seat in November. I wanted to give you both a chance to introduce yourself. You're known to some voters in some parts of the very large 12th district, but not to everybody. And Heather, because you have first position on the ballot, if you could just introduce yourself. You have 1 minute.
Thank you so much. So my name's Heather Koellen. I am a registered nurse at Harborview Medical Center for the past 21 years in the intensive care unit. I'm also a city council member for the city of North Bend on my second term, which I find very meaningful. I am running on affordable housing, education, and protecting women's reproductive health rights. And I'm very excited to run for the 12th, and I hope I have an opportunity to win. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. And Brian, for yourself, could you introduce yourself to the voters in 1 minute?
Absolutely. Brian Burnett. First of all, I'm married to my wife, April, of 37 years. We have 7 kids and just had our 10th grandchild. Born and raised in Chelan County. Former Chelan County Sheriff. Did 3 terms, 12 years, and my whole career in law enforcement with the Chelan County Sheriff's Office. Little leadership positions. I was the past president for WASPC, which is the Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs. I'm also the past president for the Washington State Sheriff's Association, and I was appointed by Governor Inslee to the Criminal Justice Training Commission. Taking on the 12th is going to be a great challenge, but also I think a great opportunity just because of the geographical area, and I'm poised for that with my retirement in law enforcement. I currently contract with the State Sheriff's Association as their administrative liaison, and then I work remotely for a securities company where we hire off-duty police officers to do security positions. And so I'm just in a position where the employers is very supportive of me taking this on, and I feel like I can put my energy into the public safety realm of peace. Also for social services and some pieces that I've worked with foster kids and different things like that.
I'm going to pause you there, Brian. We've gone over your 1 minute time.
All right.
Thank you very much. You did mention the 12th being a very large district, and that's true. It's not the largest in the state anymore, as Brad Hawkins used to always talk about. Now that's the 7th district, which is right next door. But it's still very big, and it encompasses a lot of communities. From your perspective, Brian, as a legislator, potential legislator, what do you think is the most important issue facing the 12th district right now? 2 minutes for your answer.
No doubt public safety, dangerous drugs, mental health, the homelessness, and affordable housing. Obviously the economy and different things like that. One of the big passions that I have is to support our small businesses, because I think they're the heartbeat of our communities. That's what shapes and forms the communities that people want to decide where they want to raise their family. So that quality of life wrapped around public safety and the criminal justice programs.
And Heather, from your perspective, the most important issue you think is facing the 12th district right now?
I would agree. I would say affordability for our citizens, having a proper income and an affordable place to live. I do agree with public safety and giving our people the tools they need, firefighters and the police and the sheriff. And by that I mean the equipment and the training, all the things they need to keep us safe. Homelessness is a huge issue throughout all of Washington State and the country. And so having services that we can provide for them to get them into homes, off of the drugs, help them with the mental health issues, that all comes together. And for the education piece, making sure that all the kids have equal opportunity to get a very good education regardless of where you live or what your economic status is.
I'll stick with you for the next question, Heather, if I could. The legislature had a fairly busy but short term earlier this year, 2023 into 2024. Can you think of some decisions made, or any one decision made by the legislature in the past session that you disagreed with, that you thought if I was there I might have voted differently?
I don't know them that well off topic, but I will say the Climate Change Act 2117. I do not want to repeal that. I think it's very important that we don't do that, because the climate affects everything from wildfires to drought and pollution. And so that was one that I definitely don't want to repeal. And that's the one that I can think top of my head.
That's the Climate Commitment Act that you referred to, which I think is the subject of an initiative before the voters this upcoming election.
Yes.
Brian, from your perspective, some decisions that might have been made by the legislature in the past session that you observed and you disagreed with and would have made a different choice.
Right. I think that Heather and I probably disagree a little bit on the climate portion of that. And I think that mainly is the fact is I think our citizens and the people and business owners need to remain to have as much choice as possible when it comes to their businesses and what products they want to choose to run. I mean, as far as we all want to be good stewards of our land and protect it and make sure that it's there for our future generations, no doubt in that whatsoever. I think the long-term care piece of that is off balance. And here's why I say that is because they say that they want to focus on the wealthier individuals because of that percentage is disparageable, or whatever, how you want to say that, is they're not paying their share. But at the same time, it doesn't offset for what the middle income or lower income is paying. They're only raising the taxes on the wealthier. So if you want to talk about those being that fact, then let's make those adjustments properly. But I think that that's just another way to tax. And I think we need to talk about accountability and prioritization, especially when it comes to transportation and all of our infrastructure and stuff like that. I mean, I went to a regional training for DOT here not too long ago, and they talked about 80% of this region is either past due or due for restorative care. And so the restoration piece of our current highways and bridges is a vital piece of our infrastructure. And we have some projects out there that need to go forward to keep up with our increased population and the amount of traffic that they have on the highways.
Next question goes to skill set, and I'll stick with you for this one, Brian. Can you think of particular skills that you've gained in your past employment or your past elected roles that you believe could be effectively brought to the legislature if you're elected?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, obviously I have my eyes on the Public Safety Committee, and I think that I would play a really good role there as well from my past experience as a law enforcement leader. But also as a leader inside of the, for those pieces, for like my WASPIC presidency and the Sheriff's Association. But just dealing with people over and over in different agencies and organizations, labor negotiation contracts, knowing that it sometimes, the only thing that's a win for you is when you have a win for everybody involved, and trying to see the big picture with what I call a 30,000-foot view. Are you only coming in from one angle? And it's not just about the 12th, it's about the state of Washington and how we can move things forward to make a better Washington for our citizens, for our families, and the future generations.
And Heather, I'd put the same question to you. Particular skills that you think you've gained in your employment or in your elected roles that you think would play well if you're elected to the legislature?
Certainly. So as a city council member, I am on a couple of regional councils. I'm the vice president currently for King County Board of Health. So we're dealing with all different cities. I'm also vice president for the Snoqualmie Valley Governance Association, which is North Bend, Snoqualmie Tribe, Carnation, and Duval. So we work together nicely to do things for our valley. So I think the getting together with all the different groups and learning how to work with them to get things done as a group, which can be very difficult at times. As you know, we share a police department with Snoqualmie. And right now we're going through police contracts, and so it's hard to come together in a consensus sometimes, but you got to keep working at it. And I think that is one of the skill sets that I've learned that would be helpful.
I want to stick with you for this next question, Heather. A House bill that passed this past year was 2118. It established additional requirements for firearms dealers, including background checks for employees. You have to put bars and grates in firearms dealers for security. locked storage vaults after hours, surveillance systems, other measures like that. We had at least one business here in Wenatchee that has said it is now too expensive for them to continue to sell firearms, so they're going to phase out that business pretty soon, within the year. Does this need to be revisited? Should House Bill 2118 be revisited, amended in light of some of the costs that local dealers are seeing?
So first of all, I'm sorry to hear that about that business, but this comes down to public safety, and I think those are all really good rules that should remain in place to keep our public safety. We don't want people breaking into gun shops, taking all the guns, and going who knows where. So I think it's a very important thing to have.
And Brian, from your perspective on House Bill 2118, this is about the dealers of firearms having to create new steps, guidelines, security procedures. Does that go too far, need to be revisited?
Yeah, I think regardless of what the intentions are, I don't know. I'm not there with the people that wrote that bill and sponsored it, but there's a handful of people out there would say it was a severe overreach. Maybe they should have started in sections and pieces. It's not an overburdens to the business owners to try to implement all of this by, and I'm not sure what the implementation time of that was. But at the same time, I mean, obviously keeping safe, but then we have laws and policies that went into effect that kept a juvenile from being able to question without an attorney present. And if you remember just a few years ago when we had the Malaga firearm store was broken into involving 2 juveniles, and that bill, that law delayed the process of a public safety issue because our law enforcement officers were not allowed to interview and question those individuals, and one wanted to give up the information, but their court-appointed attorney would not allow them to do that. And that was a huge public safety issue. So I think there's a lot of other things we can look at to say, what do we have to put in place to make sure that we keep our streets safe, especially from gun violence and violence in general. It doesn't matter what the tool is that's being used.
Well, but 12th is a pretty diverse and geographically rich district, as we've talked about in our conversation so far. And the two of you hail from almost the exact opposite ends of it. There's a mountain range in the way. Brian, I'll put this question to you first. Why do you think you can fairly represent the constituents of the 12th District despite the geographic size and distinctiveness of the places? Are you worried you'll be seen as the Wenatchee representative for the 12th versus just the representative for the 12th if you're elected?
Oh, absolutely not. And you know, a few months back, what did that look like? But again, you know, I told you since June 10th, I've logged 7,200 miles across this district, getting to know individuals, business owners, agencies, groups, different things like that, and it's a great opportunity. And I think why I'm affordable and perfect for this position is I'm in a position that I can put all of my time and effort into this. I work remotely part-time for a company that has given me the green light to say, go and put your energy behind this, as long as, and we'll continue to evaluate what that work relationship looks like for our company. But I think that I'm just prime in the position that I can put the full-time effort in. It's not going to be a part-time position, and people aren't going to get neglected. I'm going to be working directly alongside Representative Mike Steele and hopefully Senator Keith Gaynor as a team, as a leadership team. We're going to be in close contact to make sure that, and also working with our legislators on our borders, legislative district, the 39th and the 5th, and all of those other ones. So.
In the remaining time you have, Brian, I want to ask, do you agree with the federal court decision that was made to redraw the 12th district? This was handed down in the federal court in Yakima at the beginning of this year, and it really did reshape the way the 12th lies and what communities it covers.
Well, what I don't agree with, Jefferson, is the timing of it, that they would have done this during an election cycle. And forced state senators and representatives to have to am I going to move? Am I going to stay in this game? I don't think the timing of it was proper. As far as the redistricting, I know that they take a look at that every 10 years. I don't believe that the judge is the one that should be doing that. I think it should be to the committee, and I know there's a lot of other intricate working details from that, but I would have liked to have seen some things done differently. At the same time, I think this is a great opportunity. I think there's a group of people that would have thought that, hey, we can take over the 12th. And for the state Democrat Party, and we're just not going to let that happen. And I think that we're going to actually take that forward, and we're going to represent everybody really fairly and really well.
And Heather, I'll turn that two-part question back over to you. It's a diverse district. Do you think you can fairly and efficiently represent the constituents despite the vast size and the different communities involved?
I absolutely do. So as a city council member in a smaller town, 8,600 people, I see the rural side of it. I also go into Seattle. I see all the things of Seattle, which is a big city, things that we can bring from that is not getting shared over here on the west side. I go into Carnation. They have all the similar problems. Leavenworth, they're also a tourist town, similar than North Bend. Wenatchee as well, so there's a lot of tourism that can be worked on that is similar. Everybody needs money, everybody needs resources. What I'm finding when I go across the 12th is everybody loves their community, which is amazing. They're pretty happy no matter what town you go to. So just listening to what their needs are and how can I get those for them, that would be my goal, and I think I can achieve it.
And the second part of that question was the federal court decision was kind of an unexpected way to achieve a new district. Did you agree with the federal court's decision on that?
So my understanding is the Yakima Nation sued because they thought it was unfair, and so they decided to redistrict, which they did. They had 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats go out, and they had to find 167,000 population and try to make it 50-50 Republican and Democrat. And I think they actually achieved it. I think you're seeing that, I'm seeing that, and so it truly seems like it will be a fair vote.
I'm going to go to the closing question now, Heather, and I'll stick with you for the first part of this one. In 1 minute, why should people vote for you for 12th District State Representative?
People should vote for me because I genuinely care about each and every city in this 12th District. The more I learn, the more I want to help them. I know that I can help them. I'm listening to them, and it's about all of the people in all of the towns, not just a certain group of people.
And Brian, I put the same question to you. Why should people vote for you for the 12th District House seat?
Absolutely. Past experience in public safety, but not just that, but the government work that we worked with, all the different agencies within the county, all the different departments, and I really had a good collaborative working style, leadership style. And you can go back in the course of time from county administrators to our public officials all abroad, our school board members, superintendents as we build contracts with our school resource officers. It's about trust and doing what's right for everybody involved. At the same time, again, I mentioned this earlier, I'm really in a position to be able to represent and get out there and do things well and give it my full attention. And I think that with this legislative team that you have to work as a team really closely like never before for the 12th is a great opportunity, and just ready and to go on to the next phase, get the November 5th general election behind us and move forward to Olympia.
Heather Koellen is the Democrat, Brian Burnett, the Republican, running for state representative for the 12th District. I want to thank you both for being here today.
All right, thanks,
Thank you
Jefferson.
so much.
You're watching the NCW Live channel.